Mike, did you learn looking from that history? How do we make sure that the industrial policy we're doing with chips does not repeat the mistakes of the past? What have you figured we did wrong in the past that you are making sure we don't do now?
Well, I was the first employee of the CHIPS team back in September of 2022. So you don't think about this, but major government program starts, there's no infrastructure, there's no model. You're just, I mean, Tim went through this with his adventures in government, but you're starting with a blank slate. And by the way, that was from a kind of craft of government standpoint, one of the most exciting things about it, because the legislation provides a fair degree of flexibility, a lot of discretion to the executive branch, and it's a question of can you make it work. Secretary Raimondo, felt, I would say we had to focus on three things early on. Thing number one was people. Like you have to get a good team in place. And Secretary Raimondo in particular is a magnet for talent. And we've just built this extraordinary group of people. CHIPS office is now 150 people. And from all walks, private sector, investors, industry, government backgrounds, national security backgrounds, workforce backgrounds, et cetera. So that's been a huge asset, impossible to do without that. The second thing really important is setting a vision. It is very easy, and you see, I think, this a lot in state economic development programs, to make a whole bunch of investments and then try to step back and discern a strategy. I call it like you put the stars in the sky and then you draw the constellation.
Yeah.
We really wanted to take a different approach, which was to kind of, you don't have to draw the full constellation, but you should have a sense for what it's going to look like. And then we felt accountable for explaining that to the public, right? So we put out what we call our vision for success that talks about, in reasonably concrete ways, what our objectives are going to be. That required a lot of work, a lot of deep thinking early on while we were hiring the team, while we were building the program, et cetera. But we thought it was that important to kind of put that stake in the ground. It's been a really important device for engaging our applicants. Our applicants respond to it. They understand what we're trying to achieve. They help us, interested in our funds, kind of effectuate that vision, but also an important advice internally. Like internally, as we are sitting in investment committee meetings, as we are talking about portfolio allocation, we are constantly coming back to that vision, right? So we are kind of anchored in what we need to do and achieve for the country. And then the last thing is you have to build, once you have the team and the vision in place, you have to just build the pipes of a program, the nitty-gritty programmatic details that allows you to effectuate against those goals. So in focusing on those three pillars, I think we've been able to build an operation that at this point at least is on the right track.